Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? Hopefully everyone's having a good day. But yes, we are back. We are with our match reaction, our final thoughts of yesterday's defeat to Millwall, to Swansea City at home. 2-1 defeat. Should have been a 1-1 draw, I believe. But we'll get into that in the live stream. I've got just almost pretty much forgot about what I was talking about there. Right, let me just change this quickly for you guys. I'm always forgetting something in the stream. If I can find it, that is the question. It's here somewhere. I know it is. How are we doing anyway? Hopefully everyone's okay. Who's in the chat? We got West 12 Pete in the chat. Good to see you. Good to see you. Disappointing match, he says. Season is look, season was finished a while ago, man, to be honest. Listen, look, the main thing is no relegation. We stay in the same league. We go up in the league in a different position, better than what we did last season. We got to kind of take some positive out of it. You know, we've had news of Steve Cook leaving the club, so that's something, whether you want to take that as positive or negative, totally up to you. But for me, you know, he ain't playing games, so the science got to be done there. We need to improve our defense. We need the budget. We need the wage. Something to do. Robert, good evening. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you're okay. So yeah, what we're going to do first is we're going to get into this match reaction, I guess. And we're going to switch the scenes right now. Opponent preview. We should still go out on a high. I believe that 100%, Robert. I believe that. That's something I will agree with, because, listen, look, you know, we have never really had... Hang on, people, hang on. Jesus. We've had, what's saying... We've had, hey, that dog is going mental. We've had a very weird end of the season. Go downstairs then. We've had a very weird end of the season, pretty much for a couple of seasons now, where we've had a bad run and just basically gave up kind of thing, you know? There's been times where we've been... Hang on, people. Don't get a dog. I'm telling you, don't get a dog. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so we've had a very weird end for the last couple of seasons where we've just gave up. You know, the players are not bothered. You know, they don't want to have any encouragement in winning the game still. So yeah, Simon says still dreaming of 60+ points, but last 2 games will be tough. Look, Derby at home is going to be tough. And Ipswich is going to be a loss. Let's be honest. You know, Ipswich will win that because they want to go up. It's that simple. Hang on. Yeah, so what I was saying... Hang on, people. Sorry, hang on. Yeah, what I was saying. So, basically, what I was saying, before everything gets so distracted, I don't understand why people like to annoy me as soon as I start the streams. So fucking annoying. Yeah. We have this sort of thing where we give up right at the end of the season. You know, I would love to basically finish on a high. I would love to finish top 10, but I don't know if it's going to happen. You know, I think majority of the time right now, it's literally, we're going to give game time to players that haven't played. As we saw yesterday, Adamson was one key player, really, that we saw start a game. So I would personally say we might end up, I wouldn't be surprised, playing a couple of youngsters in the meantime for a while, until we obviously have finished the season. You know, I think we can clearly say, yeah, we want to finish on a high, but look, we're safe and sorry, we're in a safe position, and I don't honestly believe, you know, the likely chances are we're not going to finish top 10. I'll be honest with you, we're not going to finish top 10. That was my prediction anyway, top 10. If we do, thank the Lord, but if we don't, then look, we got another season to do something in the championship, get the summer over with, and go from there. Look, we've got more points than last season. That's the main thing. So yeah. But yesterday's game was very, very disappointing. Very disappointing. Not just because of how we played in the first half, but more the fact being that there were so many decisions that were really bad from the referee. And yet again, you know, I'm not going to blame the referee for the loss, but I will blame the referee of not understanding what a penalty is. You know, Tyron Smith did foul the player. I 100% agree with that. But if you are, depending on where you are standing, if you are standing eye clear view and the linesman is, and you're telling me that's a penalty, you are losing your bubble. Honestly, you're losing your bubble, because that referee made so many bad decisions yesterday, and late decisions as well. For example, Kone was on the ball for more than 5 seconds until we blew the whistle for the free kick to Swansea to go the other side. So yeah, my opinion is this: the refereeing and title says it there. It really needs to be spoke about in the EFL. You know, they have declared that VAR will not be in the championship next season already. The only thing that they've improved is obviously the playoff spaces. Now, a lot of shit needs to be adjusted. They need to get some sort of like work going on with how it can be done to help us not get screwed over constantly. Not just us, but other teams as well get screwed over in the championship for like something so stupid like a handball or something like that. You know, because Tyron Smith, very unlucky last night, obviously conceded the penalty. Well, in my opinion, a free kick, but yeah. I think Ryan just said something as well about refereeing another game at QPR. Yeah, I agree with that. When a mistake has happened by a real big mistake has happened by a referee, they should not be able to referee a game with QPR anymore, in my opinion. That just tells me there must be a grudge there somehow. How you've missed that is so stupid. It's ridiculous. I know, Robert, the linesman thing was stupid as well. The linesmen's are shit. At the end of the day, that the linesman's and the refereeing was so bad. It needs to be fixed. It needs to be corrected. You know, I don't see it happening next season because they've already announced it. It's going to take a while for the championship to actually get something going. But it needs to be quicker than what it is, because it's really bad. I'm going to still talk about it a lot more because it needs to be said. It's so bad that we're in this day and age where other leagues have got some sort of help and we don't. You know, and I get it if it costs money. I get it if this and that. But if you're willing to give 200 million to a club that gets promoted by playoffs, what on earth are we doing? As you know, it's just stupid. Hang on. Sorry about that, people. Sorry about that. But yeah, what I need to say is literally, yeah, the refereeing needs to be fixed. But apart from that, what I'll say yesterday's game, first half, absolutely appalling. You know, we have seen it. I'm not gonna lie, we have seen it before from QPR, where the poor displays in certain halves of the game. You know, we didn't look great whatsoever. The first goal that was conceded by obviously Swansea scoring with Pereira, Cook and Davis not even communicating well, and obviously conceding the goal from there. Joe Walsh, I don't know whether we should be blaming him or not. there should be some sort of communication there for him to understand what needs to happen. But Cook, as captain, needs to do a lot better. You know, that's probably his last game at home for QPR. I'm not too sure. Obviously, still got Derby County to come. But 5.7 shows you yesterday's performance was appalling. You know, we can't keep giving silly little mistakes away like that when goals are getting scored. It's really stupid. It needs to be fixed. The defense needs to be worked on this summer a lot. You know, we need a creative threat and we need defensive issues sorted, and that's the main thing for me to even really say on that for the moment. But apart from that, Davis did score a cracker in the second goal, the second half. I thought we might have been able to get it back, but nah, it was unlucky. It was a great through ball to Paul Smith, and Paul Smith shooting and obviously getting a deflection off the keeper, hits the bar, and Davis just got there in the right place at the right time, heading it in. He got an 8.3 save rating by the goal. But yeah, apart from that, the first half with the early goal from them, we just wasn't there whatsoever. We looked really dead. There was no like opportunities whatsoever. You know, it says on the momentum thing on FotMob that after they scored, we was pretty much in more momentum than they was. But the second half kicked off and it was literally pretty much all Swansea until subs came on. We made 4 subs: Ilisher, Tylan Smith, Madsen and Kone all came on to change Colley, Cook, Hayden and Burrell. The 2 forwards, Colley and Burrell, didn't really do much yesterday. There was some glimpse of hope, but you know, there's something needed to happen in the second half and we just couldn't do it. It was that simple. You know, we need to work on certain things. We lost 2-1. In my opinion, it should have been 1-1. But yeah, yesterday's result was not the greatest. It's got to be fixed as soon as possible. So yeah, but second half, yeah, that was just, for a home game and looking at the stadium as well, how empty it was. It just you can say whether it was a Tuesday night game or not. But at the end of the day, I've seen us have packed out Tuesday night games before and Wednesday night games. So to say that whether it's the end of the season and people just can't be asked now because of the results, how they've been going, it's one of them things. You know, I think personally, you know, we've lost 2 in a row yet again. And hopefully we could beat Derby and draw against Ipswich and see what happens there. But apart from that, yeah, a lot of work to be done still for next season. We did see, obviously, Poku get injured. There's not really any information on that, whether it was just concussion or the hamstring actually going on him. Hopefully he's okay. We'll find out more, hopefully, before the weekend. Just to make sure that he's not seriously injured. Because if it's a hamstring again, we're totally screwed. Honestly, we need to sort this out with the injuries. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it needs to be looked into, the injuries as well as the refereeing. But that's all we could say. First, I think it was the first half he went down, didn't it? I think it was the first half. Concussion, and he looked really interesting. He looked really good in the first half as well when he was playing. So yeah, we'll see what happens next season with him. I don't think we're going to see him again. Hopefully it was just concussion. But yeah. The ratings, Joe Walsh actually got 7.4, Davis we got an 8.3, Steve Cook 5.7, Edwards 7.4, Adamson 6.7, Poku 5.4, Morgan 6.2, Hayden 6.9, Vale 6.4, Burrell 6.3, Colley 6.1. Ratings are there, just tells you everything what's happened. Paul Smith 6.8, Tylan Smith 5.6, Nicholas Madsen 6.4, Ilisher 6.1, Richard Kone 6.2. So yeah, no Amadou Mbengue as well. That was surprising not to see him come off on the bench, just to see him have a run around. But I'll talk about that in a second, AB. I will. Hopefully no one asks about the QPR post. I really don't want to talk about that. That was just stupid. Yeah, so apart from that, let's have a look at the comments, because there's not much to really talk about QPR at the moment in the sense of yesterday's game, because we lost. We finish after yesterday's game. I need to get the league table up. Jesus Christ, where's the league table? This is how bad it is. I can't concentrate right now. Swansea 10th, way back down to 12th. 58 points, -8 goal difference. Swansea just took ahead of us, really. Look, still a chance to get top 10, but we can only get top 10, I would say. And that's it, really. So, yeah. Let's have a look at comments. We will never get more than 60 points, West 12 Pete says. What are we on right now again? We're on 58. We might get, if we beat Derby, we're on 61. So, you know, that's good. That'll be good. So, yeah. Hello, mate. We were cheated, Ryan. Well, good to see you in the chat, Ryan. And we was cheated for sure. It was a nightmare on that one. But look, we deserve to. I'm not gonna lie, we deserve to lose. Even Robert knows we deserve to lose. Look, when me agrees with certain things that Robert says in the chat yesterday, you know something's going on with QPR. You know how it goes. Me and Robert are usually back and forth with banter as hell about QPR, but when someone agrees with someone, it's you know something's going on. So yeah, I don't think we will get any more points this season. We'll finish about 15th. I reckon we'll stay 12th. I personally will say that though. I think I'm hoping we'll finish 12th, to be honest. Ryan says he can't manage another QPR game again. Surely not. I think we went through that with the refereeing. Cope incident. The ref was informed by the linesman, and we said that already. We've seen poor refs in too many games this term. Not just us. Yeah. Look, I'm not just by the way, I'm just not going on about QPR. Look, QPR have had bad referees, but I have been watching games in the Championship this season, and there has been really bad calls by referees and stuff like that. So it's not just us. I'm literally saying EFL. I know I was talking about QPR games, but I haven't really seen as much Championship games and bad refereeing as much as QPR. That's all I mean. So yeah, I think we should ask the Premier League to install VAR in the Championship. I've been saying this, look, people can mock VAR whatever they want, how shit it is, whatever. But listen, look, I tell you this. If it came down to the end of the season, for example, this season, if it came down to a goal-changing system where Arsenal were drawing, say, for example, and Man City were winning, and Arsenal needed the win, and Arsenal get a penalty claim, and it's been withdrawn, and you know, something like that, Arsenal fans will moan about it. You know, what the hell? So this is why I'm moaning about it, because it's ridiculous. I think VAR is good in occasions. I'm not saying it's great, but that there would have been called for a free kick for sure. So yeah. Steve Cook gave them that first goal. Yeah, I agree. To be honest, it was Cook and Davis. They were very poor yesterday. Robert says, unfortunately, our defensive line haven't played the same players we got. I agree. Listen, that's one thing we can agree with. Look, I talk about rotation a lot, right? But I believe rotation should only happen when it comes down to player ability. You don't need to change the centre backs, rotate them constantly a lot. You don't, because they don't run around too much to say that they need a break. Okay, the 3 game weeks possibly, but I would personally say the wingers definitely need to be rotated. The forward line needs to be rotated. But the centre backs and the centre mids, I believe they don't do that much running around to be physically unfit for the next game, unless a knock or an injury. So yeah. QPR Central just posted that we were linked with MLS play. It's the MLS Diego Luna, who Ryan just said it. He's actually a very talented youngster. He is player. I should say player, not youngster. He's a very talented player, but let's be honest, he's an MLS player. I'm not gonna get too involved with it because I don't focus on the MLS that much to say if I know the player or not. I've heard a glimpse of him, but personally, what I would say of him, you know, whether we bring in a player like that or whether we, you know, bring in some youth, I don't know. You know, I don't know what to say. I would have to look into it a bit more, but go from there. Ryan says, well, you actually said it. Yeah, why are you posting pics with twats like? I don't know. I know QPR did put out there. Well, QPR Central did put out there saying about that they wanted to bring in some media people for whatever it was. I don't know. Look, the only thing is, I would say, I'm not getting too involved in it, but the only thing that I don't like about it is that these two said so much. Well, not these two, but most of the beta squad, I should say, spoke a lot of shit about QPR in the past. So, you know, that's the only thing I would say. You know, when someone says that, in my opinion, something about QPR, I get if it's a joke and all of that, but you know, when you come out here and say you're a Man United fan and an Arsenal fan, and then you put a QPR kit on, I don't know what to say about that. So yeah, is there any chance of us getting Jordan James from Leicester? Right. So first of all, he's not from Leicester, Ryan. He's on loan from Rennes. I believe he is well known to Julian Stefan. If we are linked with him, I don't listen. I'll be honest. I don't watch him, so I'm not really bothered with what names you call them or whatever. I'm not bothered. I don't watch him. At the end of the day, you know, they're entertainers, they're content creators, and yeah, just let them be what they want to be. Let QPR do what they want to do. You know, it's up to them. You know, all I'll say is what you're saying about Jordan James. Look, Jordan James is a quality midfielder. He's a very talented young midfielder who came from Birmingham. He is. He came and conquered Birmingham just like Jude did. Went to Rennes, and then Leicester got him on loan. Now, I think Jordan James will be a quality signing, but it also comes down to the fact being, if you knew how much he was earning at Rennes and how much he was earning for Birmingham, you'd understand. I don't think it's going to happen. If we do get him, it's not going to be signing him. It's going to be on loan, you know, and I wouldn't be surprised if Rennes use him next season. You know, the only thing I can think of with Pierre Sage in charge of Rennes is that he probably would want to use him next season. Look, Julian is a big fan of him. You can tell that by a million miles away, but at the end of the day, he's on a very high wage. I know that for sure. His wage is big. So I'll be honest, I don't think he will end up coming. If he does, an absolute bargain and signing on loan or transfer. But personally for me, I think QPR will end up looking at some other targets. You know, look, you know what QPR are like. Everyone knows what QPR are like at the moment with financial problems. You know, we're probably going to end up in development squad first, looking at that. Then looking at free agents, and then if we need to bring in a player or two, we will spend a player on two. But all they will do is either bring in experience or bring in someone that is gonna make them money in the future. You know, that's why we continue to bring in Sato, and that's why we continue to bring in some players that we had on loan last season. So yeah, personally, I would say I don't see it happening, Jordan James. I don't see it happening. Nottingham Forest are interested. Look, to be honest, Robert, Nottingham Forest are shit. You know, they're not. Look, they should have, even with the problems that Nottingham Forest had, they should have kept Santos. In my opinion, they should have kept him. Now they screwed themselves up. I think Nottingham Forest have a great squad, but the ownership is clearly on cloud nine. Honestly, like, this guy just wants to be the manager, the head coach. So, you know, I haven't really got much to say about that part. But one day I may do say something. But yeah, I like Nottingham Forest. I always have had a weak spot for him because of Clough. I think anyone that I'm sure Robert had, you know, I'm not saying he thought Clough was great or whatever, but I'm sure he was a fan of Clough. I'm sure of it. Ryan says they are shit, but it's Prem though, innit? Yeah, look, Prem's a difficult league, man. It's two different leagues, you know. Prem and Championship is, but you know, Forest. Look, I like Forest history. I like what they used to do. You know, they got up, they stayed up. They've done a great job with this new owner in the sense of signings. But when you start becoming in charge more, it's not great. You know, Bernie and, well, Briatore was doing it with QPR. He was a big fan of Gavin Mahan, and all he wanted to do was Gavin Mahan on, and he wanted to get rid of Martin Rowlands. So yeah, that was the thing. The problem with QPR was literally the same thing as what Briatore. When Briatore stepped down and let Amit be in charge a bit more, that's how we got promoted, in my opinion. You know, we spent a certain amount of budget on certain players, and you know, Clough was a. I'm hoping that's a good word afterwards. Like, I like Clough. I think Clough was brilliant, man. When he, you know, I know the documentaries of him are probably not real, but yeah. Big shout out. But maybe if Maddison leaves, then we have the funds to get James, possibly. But do we want Maddison to leave? Look. I'm not saying no hate on Varane, but I'd rather Varane leave than Maddison. I think Varane, great manager. Yeah, he was. Clough it was just brilliant, honestly. I love Clough, man. You know, even though my time and era, wasn't born, but you know, when you have a dad that pretty much cares like certain things and gets you to watch his manager and stuff like that, you end up like, what the hell? You know, what a great manager, funny as hell. I enjoyed some of the videos I saw of him. The documentary with him was great. So yeah, unfortunately his son or anyone like that couldn't really do it, but they had a great combination, him and Pete Taylor. So yeah, obviously not, but if a big offer comes in from like Wolves, then maybe we go for him. Look, look, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. You know, if someone comes in for 10-15 million for Maddison, let's be honest, the owners are gonna accept it. It's that honest opinion. Maddison might not want to go, but I'll be honest, Maddison probably would go if it's Premier League team. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, the only things that I'm interested in right now, Harry Amas for sure. I don't know what's going on with that new that Dutch player yet. Nothing really is. Everything's been quiet with him. But this is the time now where we're gonna probably be linked with a lot of players, and this is the time that we get a bit busy. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, end of the season we get some more interest going on, and we could put it out there on the channel. The stories of Clough on the overlap are hilarious. Oh mate, they are. Look, don't just focus on the overlap. What I'll say is go on YouTube and just type in Clough. Honestly, some amazing things you hear about and see. It's just legendary. So yeah. Well, apart from that, we'll be live with a match preview. I don't know if we're going to be live for it yet, or it's going to be a pre-recorded one. I'm not too sure, because it's going to be Derby County. But yeah, we'll definitely be live on Saturday for Derby County game at 3 o'clock. Is it on Saturday? I think it is. Is it first? Yeah, Saturday. So Saturday. We'll see what happens, but we'll definitely be online. We'll definitely be live for the watch along for sure. Preview show, there will be a preview show, but I'm not sure if it'll be live or pre-recorded yet. I might try something different. I might go live and leave the pre-recorded one for the last one of the season, because I'll have more time to do stuff with it. I just wanted to kind of make it a very good end of season one, if that makes sense. But apart from that, we'll leave it there. Hopefully you will have a lovely evening. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to. If you can hit the like button, it's free. It does push out the content a bit more and helps the channel. So yeah, you know, Clough would make Kobe play Sunday League. He probably would flip in, not even put Clough. He probably wouldn't put Kone on Sunday League. He'd probably do something else. So yeah, but yeah, that's the kind of stories that are amazing from Clough. So yeah, but apart from that, have a lovely week. Have a lovely week. Have a lovely evening, not weekend. We'll catch you very soon. Peace, love, positive as always. Shout out to all of you in the chat again, and much love. You have a lovely evening. We'll catch you soon. Cheers, boys.